Hi, so my name's Ben, and I'm going to take you through how I built my backyard pizza oven. This is the second oven that I built. I learned some things from the first one. I'm going to take you through it. So the first thing I started with is digging the holes for the legs, which are made from sleepers. So just 4 holes. This front hole was a bit funky because there were some bricks in the ground. 4 holes, about 12 inches deep. And here you can see the legs now set into the concrete. Just put some battens to keep them upright while the concrete sets. You want to get some concrete underneath the legs, so say 10 centimeters under the legs and then up around the sides as well. And the next step is to construct the form on top of the legs. So it's just plywood placed on top of the legs, mark around the legs, and then you can slide the plywood down over the legs so it appears into the concrete. Important to keep a gap around the legs for later on, and I've sealed that off with some expanding foam, and I've also put some silicone along the edges and the corners, just around the edges slightly, so that when you take off the former, the concrete hasn't got sharp edges which will tend to break off. I've got 4x2 around the edges secured to the plywood and just some bearers underneath. So then the next phase is filling the formwork with concrete. So I have filled the form with concrete, nothing special with the concrete, just standard concrete mix. So half filled the formwork, then I put in reinforcing metal and then continue to fill up the rest of the concrete. Just a little detail here on the edges. Like I was talking about, putting the silicone in so you get a nice rounded edge on the bottom. This is just to ensure you get a nice rounded edge on the top as well, so it looks good, and also more importantly, it doesn't break off when you remove the formwork as well. You can see I've done it all the way around, so the edges look really nice, smoothed off the concrete, so it's lovely and smooth. And here in the middle, you can just see now another little former that I've placed into the middle of the concrete. And this is to give a recess for some insulation, which you'll see later. So here we go now, starting to actually build the body of the pizza oven, the half barrel shape. But I'm starting here with 2 courses of fire bricks just laid in vertically first. Here you see me laying in 25mm ceramic fibre insulation blanket into that recess. And then on top of the blanket then goes in the bed of the pizza oven, which is the fire bricks laid in at this diagonal herringbone kind of pattern. It's really important that you lay the bricks in diagonally like this, because if you were to put them in square, then when you put your pizza pill into the bed, sliding along the bed of the oven, it's going to catch. Now you just get a glimpse here of the plywood former which I've made to construct the barrel shape of the pizza oven, and here I am kind of halfway through building up the barrel shape over the formwork. The plywood former, so I made slats of plywood exactly the same width of the bricks, so I know that when I'm putting the bricks on, all I have to do is follow the slats on the former. The mortar I've used here is a mixture of fire clay and lime and sand and cement, and that mixture of the lime and the fire clay makes it a fireproof cement. It's a lot cheaper than buying fireproof cement. I'm leaving a gap at the front, at the top. That's where the chimney's going to go. And then the back wall is constructed at the end, trying to tie in the black back wall as much as possible into the main barrel. So the former has been taken away now, and this is what you're left with. Leave it to set for a couple of days so it's nice and hard. Take the former out, scrape off any snots of mortar on the inside, but a strong fire in there will sort any of those out really. The next phase then is constructing the face of the oven, and you begin by putting a couple of bricks or one course in at the bottom here, and then using a different former, a smaller former, to make the front arch. So again, the front arch is made out of fire bricks, and the fire bricks are actually whole, although from the outside they look like half bricks. They're whole bricks, and half of the brick slides inside the main barrel of the pizza oven. So actually, to get it the right size, I took a notch out of the fire brick so it would slide into the barrel. The former here is made out of 2 pieces of plywood, kind of similar principle to the other former, and I'm just building up the fire bricks in the same way as before, but with that notch just cut out so you get a whole brick slid into the main barrel, and that really helps to nicely seal that gap then, so you don't get any smoke coming up through that gap. And once that arch of fire bricks is in place on the front, I'm kind of building up now alongside it a nice facade. So these bricks here I'm laying in now, they're not fire bricks, they're just some nice rustic looking bricks, some reclaimed bricks. So these ones are just to make it look nice, because it needs to look nice, doesn't it? It's going to be a feature in your garden. Next phase. So it's laying some of that 25mm ceramic fibre insulation blanket, 2 layers of 25mm, so 50mm in total over the whole of that barrel, those fire bricks of the pizza oven. This is going to keep all that heat inside the oven. On top of the insulation blanket then, now I'm putting chicken wire, just tucking it in, wrapping it in, using little bits of wire to hold it into position. Anything really. It's not fixed in any way, and it's just there to provide a nice key for the next phase, which is rendering on top of the pizza oven barrel. Again, the rendering is there to make it look nice, finish it off, also give it a bit of protection from the elements too. The render is a pretty normal kind of render mix, sand and cement with some lime in it as well. A little bit of waterproofer too helps to shed the water off of the render, although I actually eventually put a nice little roof on top of the pizza oven, just a simple structure made out of some feather edge timber like you get on fence panels. And that's it, pretty much done now. I've still got the bottom piece of plywood on at the moment here, which I haven't taken off. And I've just lit a very small fire for the first time here in the pizza oven. And this is a really important process of the build. So you can't just go in first off with a massive fire, because that's going to cause a lot of cracking issues. You need lots of little small fires over a nice long period of time, gradually getting bigger and bigger to dry out that pizza oven. And you might actually find that it'll take several months to get it to dry really, really properly. Until it's dry, you're not going to get the pizza oven up to the right temperature inside. So the drying process is quite prolonged, but it's also really important as well. So there you go. That's a pretty simple guide to how I built my oven. I've used it a lot now. There's no cracks, and it works really well. The pizzas that I make in it are just superb. You won't get better pizzas anywhere else once you master the art of making the dough and making the pizzas. So my pizza oven has brought me a lot of joy over the last couple of months, or maybe even a year since I built it. So I hope this gives you the inspiration to get going yourself, to build one of your own in your own back garden, because there's nothing better than fresh pizza.